Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Before I get into the video, I just want to state as always, thank you guys very much for the continued support, the positive comments, positive messages, the phone calls, the texts, everything like that. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Also, just something to add, this will be the last video that I film here in my home in California. Prior to being let go with the Willits Police Department, I actually had listed my house about a month prior for sale. Because I'm going to be moving out of state. I've had some opportunities present themselves out of state, some stuff that I want to capitalize on, as well as some family stuff. My home recently sold, so this is going to be the last video that I do here in the state of California. However, I am going to continue to do these videos. Just because I'm not in this community or the state doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing them. This has always been for your guys' benefit. Like I stated, I grew up here in Mendocino County. The community still means a lot to me. I have a lot of close friends here, especially my friends and old partners that used to work for the Willits Police Department and Mendocino County Sheriffs Office that have been fully supporting me and encouraging me to continue with these videos as well. So I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to keep bringing this stuff to your guys' attention and enlightening the community with everything that I know. So as I stated in my last video, I'm going to be going forward with the command staff personnel with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. Prior to getting into the guys that currently work there, I'm going to discuss two separate individuals that were at the command staff level that have retired within the last 1 to 3 years. I'm going to do one of them today, and then I'm going to do the second one next week. And these guys are very important, and the reason why I want to address these guys is because they fit that mold or that theme that I've been discussing in my previous videos when it comes to the good old boys getting away with a ton of stuff that they shouldn't have been able to. They should have been prosecuted, they should have been fired, and it just kind of, you know, they are the epitome of this type of cop encompassing this type of behavior that I've been discussing regarding these guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. So today I'm going to be discussing Shannon Barney. Now, Shannon Barney retired as a lieutenant with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office either earlier this year or late last year. I can't really remember, but he retired in good standing. He had been with the department for, I believe, close to 30 years, if not a little more, or just shy of it, but right around the 30-year mark. These incidents I'm going to be discussing pertaining to Shannon Barney occurred in the early to mid-2000s out in Covelo, which is a town in Mendocino County for those that you don't know. And in my previous videos, I've told you guys that during the vast majority of my time employed with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy, that's where I spent my time. I was out there a lot of years. I was a resident deputy out there. I lived out there. I know a ton of people out there. And a lot of these things that I'm going to be discussing in regards to Shannon Barney is very common knowledge, especially to the people in Covelo, as well as some people that are employed with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. I mean, more so like the older guys, not so much the brand new dudes, but this was also a lot of stuff that I would hear when I was coming up with the Sheriff's Office as well. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about in the beginning portion of this video is all documented incidents. There was a lawsuit generated by one of the patrol deputies that worked with Shannon Barney at the time out in Covelo. And all this stuff is online. You can Google it, and these guys' names that I'm going to be talking to you guys about, like, all their information is online as well. It's a matter of public record. So, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys the kind of the shortened version of what happened. So back in the day, or back in the early to mid 2000s, Shannon Barney was a sergeant with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, and he lived as a resident out in Covelo. And he supervised 3 other guys that were subordinates to him that were patrol deputies with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. They all lived out there as well. And those people were Jason Cox, Brett White, and Eric Gore. And all 4 of these guys were married. All had wives. They all lived out there. So basically, Jason Cox generated a lawsuit against Shannon Barney and Brett White and Eric Gore, as well as the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, because he stated that Shannon Barney and the other 2 guys and their wives were all involved in wife swapping. And Shannon Barney had invited Jason Cox to participate. Jason Cox declined. However, Jason Cox's wife was involved as well and was having an affair with Brett White on the side. It was just a whole big giant mess. But Jason Cox alleged in the lawsuit that he had been passed up for promotional opportunities, received threats from these guys, including Shannon Barney, got negative yearly evaluations and all of these things because he refused to participate. And because he also, when he found out about it, especially with his wife being involved, he went to the command staff at the time with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, and they didn't do anything, according to him in this lawsuit. So Jason Cox filed this lawsuit. A judge reviewed it, down in the Mendocino County Courthouse in Ukiah, and the judge decided, well, hey, we're going to have a jury panel be the deciding factor here on the outcome of this lawsuit. Because there was just way too much stuff going on, and it involved, like higher ranking individuals within the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. So there was a lot of conflict of interest surrounding this incident. Just prior to going to jury trial, Jason Cox, Shannon Barney, the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, and all those other guys all settled before going to trial. Now, most of the details regarding that settlement have been are classified. I don't even know them. However, what is said in the lawsuit is that Jason Cox received some back pay for his attorney fees. He was able to remain employed at the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office as a canine handler. He subsequently left Covelo, went to the Willits area with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. Shannon Barney later transferred from Covelo to the Ukiah area to be in head of the Coroner's Division with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. And this other part is also documented online, and it's also true. Brett White and Eric Gore, the guys that were named in the lawsuit, who also worked out there at the time, committed suicide within 1 year of each other in 2006 and 2007. But basically what the lawsuit stated and why it didn't disclose the findings is because it was in the best interest of the community, the personnel involved, as well as the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, aka there was substantial evidence probably to support Jason Cox's claim against these guys, but the sheriff's office at the time didn't want it to get out, obviously, because it would completely discredit that agency. And therefore, all those details were sealed. That's exactly what that tells me, and based on my experience in the law enforcement world, that's probably what happened. That's a high likelihood. So there was also a videotape found by one of Shannon Barney's relatives at his home in Covelo during this time. And he lived out near Oak Lane in Covelo. And back then it was, standard VHS tape, and they popped it in. A friend was there as well, who I know. And they started to watch this video, and it was, Shannon Barney had recorded their wife swap orgy sessions. And after being completely traumatized from witnessing this, they put the tape back where they found it. They went to grab it again later, and it had, mysteriously vanished, never to be seen again. So aside from that stuff, the next things I'm going to get into are just rumors, and I usually address these in every video when I talk about these guys. So this stuff coming up right here, I have no proof of it. I don't have any texts, any emails, calls, documents, nothing like that. This is just common knowledge that, or common rumors that I would consistently hear over the years during my time in Covelo. I met and I talked to a ton of people, and they would consistently tell me the same thing over and over and over again in regards to Shannon Barney. And these are the types of things that I would hear. I'm not alleging he did these things. I'm not saying he did do these things. I'm just stating this is what people in Covelo would tell me. And I wasn't working during this time, the early to mid 2000s. I wasn't employed with the sheriff's office then. But they would tell me that Shannon Barney and some other people that used to work out there as deputies would bribe marijuana growers. And back then it was a felony. People were still going to prison and stuff like that. But according to them, Shannon Barney and some of these guys would say, hey, you give me money, and I'll make sure your grow doesn't get hit by the task force of Mendocino County or the marijuana eradication unit with Mendocino County, also known as Comet. Shannon Barney and those guys, some of these guys would stop people, pull them over. If they had marijuana, cash, other contraband, they would take it. They wouldn't generate a report. They wouldn't give them a property receipt. It would just kind of disappear. Kind of along the same lines as I had discussed in my previous video regarding the Mendocino County Task Force back then, when it was alleged that they were taking money and dope and keeping it for themselves. In fact, somebody out in Covelo wrote a book, and it's about Shannon Barney and some other deputies that used to work out there. They changed the names up a little bit, but it's available for $20 on Amazon. It's called The Kings of Round Valley. And it's, basically just talks about all their exploits and all these rumors that I'm addressing right now and things that went on out there, with the wife swapping and everything else. And another rumor that I would hear about Shannon Barney very, very consistently was that he had an illegal marijuana grow out there during this time period that he was a resident out there with the sheriff's office. And it was supposedly on tribal land. And this next part is true. This is a documented incident. So one day while he was still out there, he was tending to his own marijuana garden, and a citizen of Covelo either filmed him or took photographs of him in his own garden tending to his crop. This person contacted the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office to report it. An employee with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office was tasked with doing the investigation. Once Shannon Barney became aware of this, he contacted this individual via phone and basically begged and pleaded with him not to, quote, fuck him over. This person did as they were instructed with the case, presented the information, and told his superiors with the command staff, and it magically disappeared. Imagine that. No charges were ever brought against Shannon Barney. He continued to be employed with the sheriff's office. Like I stated later, he left Covelo, probably because of all the stuff that was going on during this time with the rumors, the wife swapping, and then the marijuana incident. And later was, promoted within the sheriff's office because I've always heard while I was employed there from sergeants and even sergeants and above, you mess up at the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, you move up. It has nothing to do with work performance or, how good of a leader you are, or, if you even develop leadership traits or anything like that. You mess up, you move up, we'll promote you, sure, no problem. It depends on who you know. Shannon Barney was a part of that good old boys club that I've been preaching about in my videos. And in terms of Covelo, that place has had a horrible, dark, negative history when it comes to deputies with the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. I'm talking guys doing crazy shit. A lot of guys out there have been fired. We had a deputy out there that was killed. We had two, like I just stated, that committed suicide, and a lot of guys that abused their power, abused their authority, and did a lot of crazy things, stuff that I knew about and would hear about prior to me moving out there to be a resident deputy. And that's why I made sure I did my job correctly and I was honest and trustworthy and I did it right. And I left on good terms and I didn't have any of these issues that, I'm talking about in regards to these other guys. And that's why a lot of people in that community never trusted cops. It takes a lot to earn their trust. It really does. And rightfully so. I can totally understand, where they're all coming from because they've had to deal with these types of people in their small, very small community. It's like a population of like 2,000 people and it's very small and everybody knows everybody. So you're dealing with cops, over the years back in the day that have, done these sorts of things. And it's like, yeah, of course there's going to be no trust. So it made it very hard for me when I was first out there to do my job. But like I stated, I understand. And thankfully I, persisted and, I hung in there and I continued to work with the community. And I built that trust and rapport up, and it took years to do so. And then I was eventually able to put myself in the position that I was in, where I was getting a lot done very, very easily. And I became, I was out there talking to everybody in the community, the school staff, the businesses, and all that stuff. But based on, like I said, these historical incidents, it's very challenging to put somebody out in that area that's going to be able to be trusted by themselves. I did it by myself, and like I said, I had no problems, but historically speaking, that wasn't always the case. So that's pretty much it regarding Shannon Barney. The guy that I'm going to talk about next week, who's also retired recently from the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office in the command staff level, had a covered up marijuana related incident also that's also documented, which I'm going to talk about with you guys. And then I don't know what it is with the marijuana in these guys, but that's just kind of the main theme that I've been discussing in regards to their past indiscretions. And then after that, as I stated earlier in the video, I'm going to go forward with the guys that currently work there and talk about some of the things that they've been involved with. So I hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe, and share it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.